Have you ever worked somewhere and just felt things weren't clicking? Or maybe looked at another company and thought, wow, they just get it.
Yeah, it often comes down to something called organizational structure. Sounds a bit academic, maybe.
A little bit, yeah. But it's really powerful. It's essentially the blueprint for how a company works, how it breathes, strategizes, and, hopefully succeeds.
Exactly. So today, we're doing a deep dive into that blueprint.
We want to figure out how companies set themselves up to win.
And this isn't just about org charts, those diagrams with boxes and lines. It goes deeper. It's about how people connect, how decisions actually get made, how work flows.
From the big picture vision down to, what you do every day.
That's the hidden architecture, really.
And for this deep dive, we're drawing on some solid business education material, specifically looking at, organizational structure.
Right. Our mission here is pretty clear. Yeah. Unpack the main ideas, the different types of structures.
So you understand not just what they are, but really why they matter. For any business, big or small.
Definitely. And to make it real, let's talk about someone, let's call her Jamila. Her company just brought in a new telecommuting policy.
Ah, okay. Relevant for many people right now.
Very. And it's making her think, how do I stay motivated working from home? How does communication even work when I'm not physically there?
Yeah, those water cooler moments, gone.
Exactly. And how does she get feedback? That's a big one.
And there's something else too, isn't there? Like this fear of being invisible.
Precisely. Out of sight, out of mind. She's genuinely wondering, will people see me as productive, as valuable, if I'm not seen in the office?
It really shows how these organizational ideas directly hit people personally. It's about feeling valued, connected.
It really is. And we'll explore how these very principles we're discussing can actually help solve dilemmas just like Jamila's. So, yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, so designing an effective organization, where do you start?
Well, the absolute foundation is setting direction. You need a purpose, the why. And that's where the mission statement comes in. It's a short, specific, written statement of why the business exists and what it wants to achieve.
Kind of like the company's North Star.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Think of Al Marai, the big Saudi Arabian food and beverage producer. Their mission is to provide quality and nutritious food and beverages that enrich consumers' lives every day. Simple, clear, guides decisions.
Okay, so you have the mission. Then what?
Then you get more specific with goals. A goal is a precise statement of results the business expects to achieve.
So measurable targets.
Exactly. They define what needs to get done and, crucially, how you'll know if you've succeeded. Like a car company might aim to produce the top-rated brand for quality and customer satisfaction.
That's very specific. You can measure that.
Right. So you got the big vision, the specific targets. Now you need the roadmap for daily operations.
Policies and procedures.
You got it. They're the operational backbone. Policies are guidelines. They help people make consistent decisions. Think of them as the what's or the boundaries.
Okay.
And procedures. They describe how work actually gets done, the step-by-step.
So they provide the how.
Yeah, they provide guidance, direction, keeps everyone aligned, moving towards those goals without, making it up as they go along every single time.
That makes sense. Avoids chaos. So building on that foundation, what are the core principles, the sort of underlying rules?
Good question. There are a few key ones. Let's start with a trio. Responsibility, authority, and accountability.
Okay. Break those down.
Sure. Responsibility is basically the obligation you have to complete specific work, your job.
Got it.
Authority is the right to make decisions about how to get that work done, the power to act.
Okay. Important distinction.
Very. And accountability, that's taking ownership for the results, good or bad.
So they have to go together, right? You can't have responsibility without the authority to actually do it.
Exactly. Imagine being told to launch a product, but having zero say in the budget or team. You're set up to fail. And you can't really be held accountable then, can you?
No, not fairly.
Effective organizations make sure these three are aligned for everyone. Clarity.
Okay, well, what's next?
Unity of command. This one's fundamental.
Sounds military-ish.
Maybe a little. But it just means everyone should have a clear reporting line. You know who you report to for specific tasks. One boss per task, ideally.
Why is that so important?
Think about getting conflicting instructions from two different managers about the same project. Who do you listen to?
Right, creates confusion, inefficiency.
Total gridlock sometimes. You need to know who's leading the charge for your work.
Makes sense. And the last principle,
Span of control. This is about the number of employees assigned to one manager for a specific task or just generally.
Okay, so how many people report to one boss?
Basically, yeah. And it's a balancing act. Too many people. The manager gets stretched thin, can't give enough support or oversight.
And too few.
Might lead to micromanagement.
Mm-hmm.
The manager hovering too much, maybe stifling people.
Ah, the dreaded micromanager.
Right. Or the opposite, the boss who's never around.
Yeah.
Finding that sweet spot is key. And interestingly, the ideal number can change.
So?
Well, if you have a team of really experienced, self-motivated people, a manager can probably handle a wider span of control, right?
Yeah, they need less hand-holding.
Exactly. But with newer or less experienced employees, you probably need a narrower span. More guidance, more coaching is needed.
So it's adaptable. That's interesting. Okay, we have the direction, the principles. How do companies actually visualize all this?
That's where the organization chart comes in. The diagram we mentioned earlier.
The boxes and lines.
The boxes and lines, yes. It shows the structure, the different job roles, how they relate to each other. It's like a map for employees.
Helps you see where you fit.
Mm-hmm. And one very common structure shown on those charts is the functional organizational structure.
Okay, functional. What does that mean?
It means work is grouped by main business functions. So you'll have a marketing department, a production department, HR, finance, distinct units.
Right, pretty standard setup in many places.
Very common. People with similar skills work together, report to a manager for that function. The advantage is you build deep expertise in those areas.
Makes sense. Marketing, people talking marketing, engineers talking engineering.
Exactly. Deep specialization. But there's a potential downside.
Which is?
Silos. People can get so focused on their own department's goals, they might lose sight of the bigger company picture.
The U.S. versus them mentality between departments sometimes.
Yeah, or just lack of communication. Things can get stuck moving between functions, like a relay race where the baton gets dropped.
Okay, I can see that. So what's an alternative?
Well, to tackle some of those silo issues, newer structures emerged, like the matrix organizational structure.
Matrix. Sounds complex.
It can be, but the idea is to structure work around specific projects, products, or even customer groups, not just functions.
How does that work in practice?
You pull together people from different functions, marketing, engineering, finance, whatever's needed, onto a specific project team. It might be temporary, might be long-term.
So you're working across departments on a shared goal.
Exactly. Think about developing, say, a new green technology. You'd need scientists, engineers, marketing folks, maybe legal experts, all working together.
Okay, that sounds dynamic. Probably quite motivating for employees, too. Working on different things with different people.
It often is. It leverages diverse skills for a focused outcome.
Yeah.
But there's a but.
I suspected there might be. What's the catch with the matrix?
The potential for confusion. Because you might have essentially two bosses. Your regular functional manager, like the head of marketing, and a project manager for the specific project you're on.
So back to that unity of command issue.
It can challenge it, yeah. If the leadership isn't really strong and communication isn't crystal clear between the functional and project leads, it can get messy. People might get pulled in different directions.
So it requires really good coordination and communication skills from everyone involved.
Absolutely. High level of coordination needed. It's powerful when it works well, but needs careful management.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. Setting direction with missions and goals, the core principles like responsibility, authority, accountability.
Unity of command, span of control.
Right, and then these different ways to structure things like functional versus matrix. Understanding all this seems, well, essential for any business that wants to, as you said, hit the mark.
It really is the underpinning of effectiveness.
So let's loop back quickly to Jamila with her telecommuting concerns. How does knowing about this stuff help her, or maybe help her company?
Well, think about it. If her company has really clear policies and procedures for remote work, that addresses some uncertainty, right?
Yeah, clarity helps.
If her manager's span of control is appropriate, they can provide proper support even remotely. If her responsibilities and accountability are clearly defined regardless of location.
It helps combat that out of sight, out of mind fear.
Exactly. It builds trust and maintains that sense of connection and value, even when physically separate. She might even be able to use this understanding to suggest improvements.
That's empowering. And for you listening, maybe take a second to think about your own workplace or a company you admire.
How are they set up? Can you see these principles? Is it functional? Matrix? Maybe a mix.
Does the structure seem to help or hinder things day to day? It's interesting to analyze once you have these concepts.
Definitely. And it leads to a final thought, maybe something to chew on.
Okay, leave us with something provocative.
Well, with technology changing so fast, work styles evolving constantly, like with remote work becoming so much more common, how did these fundamental principles we talked about, responsibility, authority, unity of command, how do they stay relevant?
Even the actual structures, the boxes and lines, keep changing.
Right. How do the core ideas endure even as the outward forms shift in ways we might not even predict yet?
That's a great question. How did the timeless principles adapt to ever-changing structures? Something to definitely think about.